All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Here we are, episode 3.
Hmm.
I just think about that. We only decided to do this like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Should we do a podcast? And you were like, yeah, all right. And here we are, episode 3.
We are.
So how did we do that?
That's where you want to
'Cause,
start, I think.
I feel like, so we put that poll in the group, right? And we had some topics. How to train when you're a parent of toddlers. I've got 2. You've got 2. What it takes to stay in shape for decades. Been doing that. What you regret if you don't start now. And reclaiming time when you think you have none. They're all interlinked, aren't they?
Mm. I mean, even when I was putting the topics in, I was like, we've covered a lot of this stuff in some ways or another already,
Mm.
but it didn't really seem right to just get into very niche topics of like training this way or eating this way, because
Yeah.
the big picture is more important at this stage, I would say.
Well, I feel like these questions come up because they're topics that we talk about with our clients like every day. These
Hmm.
different aspects of them come up all the time. And then in our own lives too. Like particularly that first one about the kids,
Mm.
right? And that's stuff that I get asked from friends who aren't just people I know, like chatting at the park or at dad's club, like, oh, I can't stay in shape. Like it feels really present for a lot of people, mums and dads,
Hmm.
right? Um, but if you don't start now with when you, it could easily be like, well, when they're like 6 and they start school, I'll start heading to the gym again. Well, that's 6 years you've done nothing.
It's a long time.
It's a long time.
And some prime years as well, where it can really go bad, or it can have a
Well,
long-term impact if you don't look after yourself.
hey, let's talk about that. How old are you? 30.
34.
Yeah, so I'm 45. It's quite interesting those time frames, right? Because it's like late 30s we start to lose strength,
Hmm.
kind of
From
40.
30 for men, I think
Okay.
your hormones are starting to dip, like you're starting to lose muscle.
Right. Which is typically when we might be starting to have families.
Hmm.
And so it's even easier to just do nothing because our body's already kind of like, yeah, it's too heavy. Don't do that.
Definitely.
So yeah, man, this is as you just said, this is prime time. Like,
Mm.
how do we do it when we've got a newborn, when we've got 2 kids, when we've got teenagers, when we've got 25-year-olds?
Yeah. So let's rock and roll with the toddler one
Cool.
because that got the most votes.
Yeah.
And then if we just somehow end up going into the growing up of the children, although I've never experienced it, you've never experienced it.
No, it's interesting.
So we can't really talk with any authority on that, but we can
Well,
speculate.
do you know what though, Jake? So think about this. Think about I'll think about my life when I was like 12 to 16 and how much my parents did for me. I was getting dropped off at football practice,
Sure,
the skate
sure.
park.
So this
So like
is,
trying to think what I might be doing for my kids.
I've heard this from clients that have got older kids. They say it's easier in some ways because there's more independence, but also if you are the sort of parent or you have the sort of kid that's like doing something every evening and you've got multiple kids at multiple spots, that in itself can be,
Mm,
it, I wouldn't say it makes things impossible. It's just a different challenge.
mm.
For example, there's no reason if you are taking your kid to football practice, like you can't just do a workout on the grass
There you go.
whilst they're at football, or go to the gym whilst they're doing it, depending on their age,
Yeah,
or if you want to be present,
right,
or whatever it is. Like if they're having a
right.
swimming lesson, you've probably got a gym in the swimming pool. So there's definitely workarounds, but it's a different challenge that we haven't yet experienced.
We haven't, man, and I've really felt this thing. I don't know if there's something going on in the universe right now, or just what I've got on my work of like when I stop to think about history, I can really feel present in that place of like remembering of like being at football practice
Hmm.
and all the mums like sort of sat chatting, whatever they did. I don't know, but they were just sat down, whatever, and the dads were doing that too. And now I'm thinking, well, say that was an hour. That's a massive workout.
Mm.
Like, and I think now when I don't know, been in the park and so many parents would be on their phone or whatever, you can be doing some squats, just be chatting to a mate doing a thing. So it comes back to this, like, what are you prioritizing with the time that you do have?
Exactly.
Oh, I've got to take in football. That's that written off.
Yeah.
Is
If
it?
anyone comments on this podcast, I think a nice question to ask would be, how do you spend that time? If you have kids that are at that age where they're doing practices, swimming, gymnastics, musical instrument,
Yeah.
like football, whatever it is, like how are you spending that time? To me, it kind of excites me how I could spend that time.
I feel like I'm going to buy back some time. Then I'm also like, maybe we don't want to roast into it. It could be like 30-minute drive to football, then 15 back to gymnastics, and you've got to get back in time to get football plus pick up the shopping. Like I could see that starting to like in the
Mm,
car time
with the multiple kids.
with multiple
Sure. So you
activities.
guys can tell us some of the
Yeah,
challenges that you have in the comments. That'd
right.
be very interesting for
Teach
me
us.
and Joe to know how that works. So let's
Yeah,
revert.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
bring it back to the main question was how I think it was how do you work out when you have toddlers, but I think we
yeah,
should look at the big picture,
yeah,
the whole system,
yeah.
how to optimize the whole thing. Because when I saw that one was getting the most votes, I wrote down a few things that came to mind. I'm
What you
not going
got?
to go. Do you want me to go through them now?
Yeah, man.
Okay. So the first one was some of them are pretty novel
Hmm.
and very sort of niche and specific. Others are maybe a bit broader. With the food, it was eating kids' leftovers. What have we got? All eating the same thing together. So some of these are things that can cause issues. Some are things that can solve problems.
Mm,
Eating early with the kids and then just like not eating after that,
mm-hmm.
because most bad
For
food decisions
dinner,
happen in the evening,
evening.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, Getting serious about playtime.
yeah.
So going
Nice.
and get not just we're gonna go play, but like I'm gonna get into
Involved.
this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get physical.
yeah.
Opportunities before the kids wake and after they go to bed. Doing stuff with the kids, like set them up with a game or an
Mm-hmm.
activity or
Mm-hmm.
something they're involved in,
Mm-hmm.
and like doing it around them or with them.
Mm-hmm.
And they were the main notes
Yeah.
that I wrote down.
Okay. So maybe we do it like this. You know, it's Monday. We know what it's like with toddlers. They don't give a shit if you've got something planned.
Mm-hmm.
It's Monday, and you're like, well, I'm up at 6:30 because I'm going to head down to me. I want to go down to the outdoor gym. I'm going to run down there. I'm going to do my ABC 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to come back in time for breakfast. Yep, ready. Alarm set. Get up. Get my socks on. But oh, my daughter's up, and my wife didn't sleep. And she's like, "Can you just take her?" Option A, oh God, I can't work out. All right, what do you want to do? We'll read some more Dr. Seuss books and play some Lego. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Missed my opportunity of window for workout because then it's breakfast, school run, and into my day. Option B, like take her and go, it's not going to be the perfect workout. It's going to be whatever I can do. And I think that's the piece as parents that I like clung on to a little bit for certainly my first child of like
Mm-hmm.
old Joe and what old Joe is capable of doing because all this time. And then when my son was born, it was like, oh yeah, no. When you've got multiple small humans, maybe I see other parents identifying with this. You just got to let that go.
Yeah,
So what is the new way of showing up,
definitely.
right?
And I see that with people who are most clients, also people that I speak to on calls, like that are interested in becoming a client, whether they've got kids or not. There's this almost backdating of perspective of how
Mm-hmm.
things need to be done, and that becomes a massive obstacle in of itself. So maybe it could be a 30-year-old that's got their first child, like they're married early in their career, bought the first house. It could be a 45-year-old that's very advanced in their career, got three older kids, whatever. And it could be the 60-year-old that
Yeah,
like the kids have left home,
yeah,
like they're doing a bit of consulting on the side, whatever it is. This idea of their mind goes back to what was I doing when I was 20 years old and things were completely different. Maybe it was 10 years before from any of those points.
yeah.
And your life, whatever that situation, was completely different. And if you don't adapt your system
Mm,
and your perspective of
mm.
what it needs to look like to the current reality, you're constantly going to be battling yourself, constantly.
100%, man. And it's the idea of letting it go that yeah, oh, I used to run 3 times a week and I felt fine. Well, I snapped my ACL 4 years ago. I had major surgery, and I'm just stoked I can get 1 or 2 runs in if I'm lucky without much pain going on. So what do? I got the bicycle out. Like it's adjusting and going,
Hmm.
yeah, that sucks. Like it sucks. And I had a period of like mental health issues around it of like, God damn it, I can't do all those things anymore. I probably won't do these things. And then, we're moving into this mindset. Like when I tell myself that, there's an acceptance without it becoming like a negative,
Yeah,
like honoring the past and going, "Oh, I did a lot, man, in my 20s. Whoa, I surfed every day. I was skating. Wow, that's beautiful. Now I'm 40 something and I got kids.
yeah,
And who do I measure that against? Old Joe or other 40 something dads?
yeah.
Or me? What
Yourself
do I
right
feel
now.
like? How do I feel? Because I can't help but notice I do make some judgments or look at other 40 something dads, the ones that are like running triathlons and superheroes, and then the ones that are like vaping in the park and barely do much. So I definitely compare myself.
Hmm.
Is that healthy?
Depends how you utilize that
Is that
information.
motivation? Is it motivation, right?
Yeah, it's the same with social media, right? You can use it as
Yeah.
to feel guilty and shameful and that your life is subpar, or you can use it to motivate yourself to elevate
Mm.
what you're doing already.
And then the other, yeah, man, definitely. And then the other like little piece, I got on the age thing. It's interesting. It's like growing old gracefully. It's not like giving up. It's not like, oh, wow, can't do that anymore. But it's like, well, what can I do? We've got an older client. He's amazing, right? And I feel like sometimes we can get attached to what I used to do,
Hmm.
and the whole reframe, which is really supported, was like, oh, this is what I can do.
Yeah,
It's amazing. And it
facts.
and it took that guy to look at other 60-year-olds and go, whoa, they're not doing it. To make him go, this is great.
Mm,
Not 40-something-year-old version of me.
absolutely. It's interesting, just going back to what you said on the sort of the looking back to what you used to be able to do, say when you were 20. And I I struggled with that for a long time, like thinking when we had kids, suddenly you don't have any time, business is flourishing, and the idea of I used to do like 90 minutes yoga in the morning. I'd cycle down to the Shala, do my yoga, come back, just do a bit of work on my laptop, hang out with some friends, then go to the gym for like 3 hours or go to the park and train for 3 hours, do a bit more work, and
Hmm.
then I could do whatever I wanted, right?
Yeah.
At literally complete freedom.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to when I had kids, and then it's suddenly, right, where can I even squeeze this 30 minutes in?
Mm.
And I almost feel there's two components to it. There's a physical, practical component, the actual action,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's the actual mindset and the story that you tell yourself around that. So
Mm.
the action is I can only do I'm doing 30 minutes because that's the only option. Even if you're doing that, you can be telling yourself, this is shit.
It's not
I wish
enough.
I could do that.
Yeah.
It's not enough. Or you can walk away from that being super proud of yourself and feeling I'm taking the action, I'm doing the thing.
Yeah.
So there's almost two components, and I think
Mm.
you have to really thrive when you are trying to figure this out around kids or
Mm.
busyness in your life is sorting both of those elements out, because if you only do the action but you're constantly telling yourself this isn't good enough, that's going to suck,
Yeah.
and it's going to hold you back.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And I've seen that, right? Like they've done the 30 minutes of the 10 of things and the 5 of the things and the 15 of things, but they just those are the people that drop out and we're like, where did they go? And you'd have to really like bring them back because they're like, yeah, it was just and I wish I could have done, I should have this, should have that. And so it's this early like mindset-y piece before you get into it. Like, why am I doing this thing?
Hmm.
What's the point of me going down there and do the thing? Just don't do the thing. If you're going into there like, oh God, blah blah blah, don't do it. Do something else. Do something you're actually going to enjoy. And like today, it was funny about this morning. I wanted to go down the gym. It was supposed to not rain. I planned to go down to the outdoor gym. The daughter was up at ridiculous early, so I was like, oh damn it. I wanted to do pull-ups. That's what I felt my body needed. Got the kettlebell out, and Avila played on the floor. She was playing with clothes pegs, like talking practicals of how to do it with a toddler. I made her a nest. They love a little freaking nest. And she
Yeah,
made her nest with the clothes pegs, and then I got her counting my reps. I did like 4 rounds of a decent workout,
yeah,
and she was stoked.
nice.
Instead of being like, "Stop it! Daddy's working out. Go back over there. It's just like what you said earlier on. It's like involved like the game. Like, okay, I'm gonna set them up the game. It'll take me a bit longer to get my thing going. Get her ready. And no more pillows. Yeah, yeah, I got you more pillows. Oh, you want your pink blanket? Yeah. Oh, you good? Right. Now I can do my thing.
Yeah.
And went off a topic there, but there's that piece of like how you get it done
Yeah.
is adaptability because I know I want to get it done.
Exactly. And I
You know.
think rather than going, let's say you have your sort of your daily non-negotiables of like the things you want
Mm.
to get done, rather than it being 90-minute workout in the gym,
Mm.
listening to this perfect music, perfect performance, blah blah blah. It's just like workout tick.
Yeah. And when you right, and the tick, man, and we know that works in our system. When you get to tick something, how good does it feel?
Yeah.
Like I still use a little bit of paper next to my laptop. I've got my boards and asanas, but it just it does say 90 minutes as movement,
Yeah.
breath work. Yes,
I would say that
yes.
the number one thing when you have toddlers is doing it. Doing it is number one. That is the thing to celebrate. Not the how perfect it is, not how long it is, not what you wanted it to be. Focus on doing something
Yeah,
first. That's and we can go into more detail, but I
yeah.
think
Do the
without
thing.
doing it, that's the best thing, and feeling good about yourself for it.
Well,
It's tough.
do you know what, man? That brings up for me. Look, if I did the thing today, and I told a mate, not many of my mates don't have kids now, but I know I've been there when they have that. Yeah, when I've not had a mate and a friend who's a dad, and I'm like, hey man, I did this thing today. He's like, oh, or the other way around. Sorry, he'll be like, hey man, I just went for a 2K swim today, and I've hit the gym for an hour and a half. Do you want to go surf later? And I'm like, I only did my 20-minute push-ups this morning, right? Whereas if I tell you or my dad's like, sick, how did you get that in? So it comes back to this community piece of like, have people in your corner that are like, you can celebrate that. I did 10 push ups today with a newborn.
Mm-hmm.
What? It's amazing, bro. Who cares what you did last week or your mates are down the gym for their 2 hour session? Who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah.
So like accountability in a celebration way, just like celebrate it.
Mm-hmm.
Because only other people in that situation are going to be able to understand that.
Exactly. I've also heard the let's call it an excuse or a rationalization that when you're with your kid that you can't do a workout.
Huh.
And the reason I thought of that was because you mentioned like a newborn, and when you have a newborn, it's actually so easy.
Yeah.
They're asleep most of the time.
Yeah.
If they're being breastfed, like
Yeah.
mum's feeding them,
Yeah.
even if you have to do a bottle, fair enough, whatever.
Yeah.
But you can just have them like in the Moses basket or like on the rug and literally do your workout as normal.
Yeah.
And then when they're older, when they're toddlers, I think when you use the reason, oh, I'm with the kids, so I can't do it, you've got to ask yourself, what are you actually doing in that moment with the kid? If you are 100% present and focused with that kid in the moment,
Yeah.
then fair
Great.
enough. But I would hazard a guess that probably that's only 10% of the time,
It's an
right?
excuse.
So is you being physical, the kids sort of playing around you, they love it, right? Every kid I've ever seen where the dad or the mum's working out around them, they absolutely love it. And they'll leave you to it eventually. Like they'll
Yeah.
mess around with you and then they'll just do their own thing.
If you just keep moving, they're going to stop and go, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They absolutely love it. So there's always an opportunity with the kids. And the beauty of it, I find, is that it's almost a two birds, one stone situation in the sense that I can go, Mum, you go and take some time, you go do
Yeah.
your thing, I'll take the kids, and I can still get the workout in within that time, and they're having fun, and I'm with them, and I'm present.
The whole family wins.
Everyone's winning
Yeah.
in that situation.
And
So it's
man,
not a sacrifice for anyone in the family.
well, that's the framework. It's not like, oh, I'm going to take the kids because mum needs them the rest and I'll try and do my best. It's like, cool. We're going to see if daddy can do, like, how many times do your kids climb on your back when you're doing a push up? They particularly
Every
love
time.
that stance. It's
Yeah,
like, yay, I'm going to ride the horse.
every time.
And then suddenly I'm doing like weight resistant push ups. And now I'm like, oh, I can get like 15 of those. I'm pretty stoked with that.
Yeah.
It becomes a new challenge. Not
Yeah.
like, oh, it's not perfect form. Cool, I dropped to my knees. I'm still doing a, however much she was 18. Sick. But that's not in a program.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do a whole new program of like workouts you do with your kid
With the
on you,
children.
squats holding the baby.
Yeah.
You know, and it's again, man, it's all of this is the mindset shift with becoming a parent of everything's going to be different. We're talking about workouts. We can talk about sleep patterns. You can talk about work habits. You can talk about relationship with your partner is going to be different. If you roll into the thing thinking it's going to be the same, you're in for a shock.
Mm,
So what do you prepare? How do you prepare for it?
got it.
Right.
I
Excuse
since
me.
having kids, we talked about this on one of the previous episodes, how when you have kids, the time slots or the time that you have available, if you want it to count, you have to really know what's coming. You have to be prepared and you have to be very proactive with the time you have available. The reason I say that is that
Yeah.
before I had kids, I would actually waste a lot of time. And we talked about the buffer time around training and how that
Mm,
kind of gets removed when you have kids.
mm,
I maybe I'd work out for like 2 hours, right? But I wasn't even working out for
yeah.
30 minutes total.
Yeah.
Like it was just messing around, like being
Yeah.
on my phone, like whatever,
Yeah.
right? And I actually see now there's so many opportunities in the day. Like I wrote down on the list, like before the kids wake up or after they go to bed.
Mm,
But there's also like a normal slot in a day, which I might have already pre-planned that I've scheduled in, like a
mm,
work meeting, which I try to do. That one doesn't always happen. But then I'm like, oh, cool. When the kids go to bed, I'll do this.
mm.
Or when I pick the kids up after school, I'll take them to the park and I'll do a workout in the park. Or if it's raining, I'll do it at home.
Yeah,
I
man.
actually, if you can create this almost a tier of opportunities,
Mm.
everyone's is going to be different. And you can work down that tier as they get crossed off. So number one might
Oh,
be
didn't have
this
one.
perfect spot in the
Yeah.
middle of the day
Yeah.
where I can go to a specific location. It's at this time, it's on my own terms. If that one doesn't work out, then it might be, okay, cool. There's the after they go to bed slot.
Yeah.
Not ideal. I don't
Yeah.
want to train that close to bed, but at least the kids won't be with me. And
Sorry.
then it's all right.
Mm.
And then there's the afternoon slot. Oh, I'll play with the kids and
Yeah.
do a workout at the same time. So there's almost a hierarchy that you can,
Yeah.
safety nets that you can drop down.
Yeah, man. Well, this is the ownership, like owning your time, owning your day, like taking ownership of your life and going, again, I hate to bring it back, but it's like going, what a cool time that was before kids. What did I do with my time? I don't know, but that's done. That was beautiful. This is my new life. What does this look like? And owning it
Hmm.
and no regret and like, oh, oh God, I wish. Sure, we have those moments. Oh God, it'd be nice to have a whole day of myself, but owning it, man, and having the toolbox of
Hmm.
going, yeah, of the list of the exercises that you want to do. Oh, we're stuck in her room. I don't have the space to do all the things. Well, what can I do? I can go up and down, right?
Hmm.
There's squats. There's, like planning that out. Not going, oh, I've got time. What's the workout of the day? I haven't done these before. Oh, I need to. Whoops, you wasted 10 minutes.
Hmm.
Like knowing how you're gonna do it, and this applies even if you don't have kids. Like, get to know what you're going to be doing. Like in our program, what's in the week ahead for you? How many times do you get people going, oh, look, I have a mobility and a workout. How am I going to do that? Well, you're on the back foot. That's going to be really struggling for you. If you know you got this 10-15 minute thing in there, and then you got a 30-minute thing, like your day. What am I doing tomorrow? I've got a meeting with Jake at 10. I've got to pick up. Know what's coming,
Mm.
and be prepared. So know that Friday's an early pickup day, and whatever's going on. Plan to do it. Walk to school that day. I don't know. Ride your bike to pick up your kids. There is zero excuse for not moving when you have children. And man, this is the real, like, if I'm like really feel into it, we're showing our kids what it is to be a healthy human being. Like it's a non-negotiable. I'm not like, sorry, daddy's watching the news or the TV, or daddy's got to, I don't know, play this video game. Daddy's moving.
Hmm.
That's going in, man. Particularly 0 to 7. These kids are little sponges.
Yeah.
And look at Axel. He's like, I'm skateboarding now. And you're like, oh, see you, mate. I'll
Yeah.
do a workout.
I
Like,
think that's a really interesting one because I mean, what is a toddler, right? Well, let's just say it's a 2 or 3 year old,
yeah.
but let's say anything from a baby till they go to school, I think is basically the category that we're
Zero
talking
to
about.
six, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I found from my experience is the more that I'm present with them doing exercise, like whether it's stretching, whether it's working out in the park, working out at home, just going for a walk, cooking good food, they that's become part of their DNA. So Axel,
Yeah.
when I see him like yesterday, Daddy, let's go to the outdoor gym. Like I want to go on the skateboard. I want to hang. I want you to do your exercise. Like he was
Right.
literally like my accountability
There
partner
you go.
because he's learned
Bro.
from that behavior. And
Amazing.
we were there for in the last 3 weeks. We've been there probably 3 or 4 days a week, and we've been there for 2 hours. I could do a 2 hour workout if I wanted. So
Amazing,
it was
man.
basically my day yesterday was working out, messing around on the skateboard, buying fake pizzas from their stand in the play park, like
Yeah.
just all mashed
Yeah.
up into this crazy
Yeah.
like 2 hour experience, and that's been on repeat for the last few
But
weeks.
I bet what it was right, minute work, 60 seconds rest, minute work. So it was like, oh, I'm suddenly playing pizzas for 5. Oh, back and do a couple reps, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you're like, and that's that. What is the successful workout piece? What is
Mhm.
what did I win? And I did the workout while they were making their sand pizzas, and I had to pick up a kid because she was crying. No,
Yeah,
you did something, man,
yeah.
and the kids are stoked, and they're involved.
And that's 100% a success. And
Yes.
this is the thing as well, that when I had kids really changed my perspective is that you can actually get just as good results with an imperfect 30-minute workout as you can spending 90 minutes with like a plan. I honestly believe that if you adhere to like some very straightforward principles.
Yeah.
So very practically what those things are to me and the things that I really live by when I'm really just workouts are feeling a bit random, they're always imperfect, the kids are always with me, is there's a general structure throughout the week. So that would be in my strength training, I am covering all bases, meaning
Mm.
I'm not just doing push-ups every single time. So
Yeah.
that might be covering various pushing movements,
Sure.
shoulders, chest,
Yeah.
triceps, like all different directions, the pulling movements,
Yeah.
pull-ups, rows, and then the squats, the
Yeah.
deadlift, the hinging movements,
Yeah.
maybe some core work as well. So just making sure that you're covering all of that throughout the week.
Right.
Then on top of that, the simple one that will get you the results is train close to failure.
Mm.
Like if you're pushing yourself, you might not actually know I'm getting stronger each week, but I guarantee if you're not getting to that intensity point, your
Mm.
body's not going to want to adapt.
So let's. Do you mind jumping into that, Jake? Because this comes up sometimes with the clients I'm working with right now. They come from traditional workout gym backgrounds. When you do 5 sets of 5 reps, 5 sets of 10 reps,
Mhm.
it's like an even number, right?
Yeah.
And we get stuck there. Well, I know my body can do 10. Can it do 11?
Mhm.
Like, yeah, talk a bit about that. Like, it's interesting. Like,
Sure,
how do
sure.
you
So
advise you?
in our programming, we never use prescribed reps. We use something called reps in reserve. RIR. So you always have to say it slow.
Yeah,
It's like a tongue
oh,
twister. Reps in reserve is basically another measure of how many reps you should do, and it's almost back reverse. It's working in reverse. So you're looking
okay.
at it's how many reps away from complete failure that you need to go to, and that's your number of reps.
Yeah.
The reason that reps in reserve works so well, specifically for bodyweight training, it does work for weight training as well. I'll explain why prescribed reps work better for weight training in a minute. The reason it works so great for bodyweight training is that everybody's ability level is different when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to bodyweight. Everybody's body is different, their weight, their height, gender, like starting
Yeah.
point, previous training history, like all these variables. So if you tell person A to do 10 push-ups and person A has trained the whole life,
Yeah.
they weigh 70 kilos and they can do a handstand push-up already. 10 push-ups to them is not going to be difficult. It's going to be 20% of their intensity threshold.
Warm up.
Person B is 50 kilos overweight, never trained in their life,
Yeah.
and yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
They can't even do 10 push-ups. So how can you prescribe reps to someone and expect a result to us without fully understanding what they're capable of?
Mm-hmm.
So reps in reserve is our way of going, if you are always a couple of reps shy of failure, you're naturally going to keep progressing because it's always close to that ceiling for you personally. So it's basically a way of making sure every single workout is tailored to you without constantly having to go, let's go for 12 reps today, right? Because
So,
what if you could do 13? What if you could do only do
and
10?
what if the every time, man? What if with that on Monday I knocked out 21 reps, but on Wednesday, I didn't sleep so well. I only get to 16.
Hmm.
Like, talk to me about that because that happens sometimes. Like, well, man, I'm failing. I didn't get to. I usually do 20 of these.
I would
Does it
say,
matter?
does it matter? It's an interesting one, and I would say that it's probably your mind that's holding you back because you know your
Mm.
body is physically capable of that because
Okay,
it's
here
done
we
it
go.
before.
Yeah.
So I would say it's more a
Uh-huh.
mind thing.
I'm tired.
Now the question
Sure.
is when is listening to the mind a good thing and a bad thing? I think for people that are inexperienced of pushing themselves in their workouts, which is a
Listen.
big
Yeah.
proportion of people, even if they've trained a lot. And it's
Right.
probably when people say, "Oh, I've only got average results, but I've been training for 10 years," it's probably a matter of actually intensity and their system that they're using.
I got you.
But then there's also for the highly trained person, they genuinely know, like, I am not functioning at a high level right now and I need to just back off.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of depends
Sure.
on the person how well your intuition is on
Yeah.
actually that intensity level and pushing to that failure point.
Well, and I guess this comes back to doing 5 of something's better than doing 0 of something. I've had
Exactly.
2 hours sleep, baby's crying all night, and I could sit on my ass and go, well, I didn't sleep, so I'll just watch Netflix today.
Yeah.
Or I could just do 10 squats.
Yeah.
It's
Cool.
better than none, right?
Exactly
Usually I
right.
could do 50.
Exactly. And this
So
is
there's
what we
like
were
knowing your
saying.
body, right? And
Doing the
knowing your.
thing is number one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then that's your 5 reps, right? And
Yeah.
then if you're going, right, kids are around me, I've only got 20 minutes, I don't have any equipment at all. If you can remember that one thing, which is, right, if I push myself close to failure, I'm going to be hitting some kind of ceiling and telling my body
Yeah.
I need to grow as a response.
Even if it's just, I'm got to do squats before we get in the car, and you just do squats till you can't do them.
Yeah,
Just that
exactly,
thing. Just
exactly.
that.
That one
Yeah.
thing.
And
Because, yeah, sure, you can go, right, I'm just going to do 5 push ups, but you can do 15. But if it's an imperfect situation, I don't see why you would need to do less than what you're capable of.
cool.
To me, that's more of like a
Great.
mental laziness, not willing to go to that intensity point, which, as we've just said, can be okay sometimes, but you have to be highly intuitive about the reason that you're doing that because it's another doing it. There's a lot of excuses that can stop you doing it. There's also a lot of excuses that can stop you actually trying hard. And you see it all the time. If you go in a commercial gym, there'll be people just wandering around. Oh yeah, just a few reps of that, a
Yeah.
few reps of this,
Yeah.
like literally zero effort.
Yeah.
And it's no wonder they don't get any results because they're not telling their body
Well,
we need to
that
adapt.
feeling. So what I'll argue is what they're getting is like I went to the gym, tick. I did a few things, tick. That will only keep going. We said this, so they'll only keep going for so long because there won't be real results. You feel like a sense of achievement. Maybe they didn't go to the gym last month, and now they've been and
Yeah,
they're doing wandering around. But that will just get boring,
yeah.
and then they stop going. And how many people have a gym membership that they don't?
I would also say that that's maybe a downfall of the gym. I've never really thought about it this way, but
Hmm.
the mindset shift of entering the space ticks it off, which is literally not
Yeah,
true at all. Because
yeah.
what then happens as a result of that? Oh, I'm going to go out for dinner tonight, and I can have what I want because I've
Went to
been
the
to the
gym.
gym. So
Yeah, yeah.
it can have some very negative mindset consequences,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I think, however imperfect your workout is, I always go and push to that intensity because
So
I know growth is coming from that. Even if I'm not going, okay, right, last week I did 10 reps, 10 times 10, like 3 reps of 10. This week I'm going to do 11. I'm not counting that, but I know if I'm pushing to my peak level,
yeah.
that my body is being challenged.
So I love this, man. This is knowledge, people. So listen up. So this like we didn't mean to go here, but I think it's an important one that is sometimes tricky for people to kind of get,
Mhm.
and certainly for me with this when I start working with you because it was always about sets and reps, and you do the thing. And I've heard of going to failure, but let's say push-ups, right? It's an obvious one because you'll fall over. Like when do you stop at the last one that's in perfect form, Or do you stop when you're just about eking it and your back's arching and then you've done one? Do you count that?
So I would say the former.
So good
Stopping
form.
just before you really
You're going to
lose your
lose your
form.
form.
If it gets a little bit ugly, we can handle that. But we don't want to be going all the way. I would say that's complete failure because you're actually utilizing different, you're changing the leverage of your body or the
Yeah, you're
angles or
trying to
using different muscles to
tip it.
actually do it.
Yeah.
Big conversation about failure and whether it's worth going there or not. In a nutshell, you need to go close to failure to get the response that you want. But going all the way can have negative effects and actually like slow down your recovery, more muscle
Injuries.
soreness, like more taxing on your nervous system. So
Right.
it's better to kind of like knock on the door of failure,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
not actually go all the way in.
Yeah.
So
Hello. Yeah.
that's
I like
that's
it.
what we do. So
Beautiful.
I want to complete the conversation with the reps in reserve.
Yes.
With weights, obviously, there's another variable, which is actually the weight that you're using. So if you prescribe 3 times 10 reps, and for one person it's too hard and too easy, well, there's the weight variable, right?
Sure.
So person A can be using 50 kilograms and person B can be using the 20 kilograms. So there's a bit more of a variable. Reps in reserve can certainly work because that person has to have some additional knowledge of what weights are right for me, what's correct.
Yeah.
It's an additional complication, especially for the untrained person.
Sure.
Even the trained person that's maybe doing an exercise that they're not familiar with, right?
Yeah.
So with the body weight, the reps in reserve, it's a learning process still, but it's much easier to go, I only had one more in the tank then.
Yeah.
Cool. What was that for you? 11.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's then your starting block to build from.
Yeah.
And the beauty of that is actually that in the future, you can refer back to that and know that's my anchor point to build from. So you don't even need to be thinking, did I actually have like a couple more in the tank? You can just go, next workout, I'm going to go for 12.
Yeah. Because I said 11 plus.
It provides your anchor point. So it's super important in the early days.
Yeah. So that's it, man. So I feel like that's beautiful. So to round that off, it's this idea that these people that join the program, they're doing 10, 10, 10, 10 to 10. Cool. After a couple of weeks, it's a conversation, isn't it? Going, man, you're smashing 10 every single time. Can you just show me? It's almost like your 1 rep max. Like what can you do before you fail? Now, obviously, we have several rounds. This is getting into specifics, but it is pushing to that point of failure. That is where the growth comes. Definitely. If you're just doing 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, that's just a maintenance, right? You're going to be good. So you're going to keep your tone and stuff, but you're never going to.
Yeah. And obviously it depends on your goals. And if your goal is just to kind of maintain your muscle mass and get leaner, then it's fine to do that. You don't need to do that. You should probably still be progressing. Like, why not, right?
Yeah.
But in theory, if that was your goal, like that would be absolutely fine.
Great.
But if you do want to get stronger and build muscle, like you need to apply the principle of progressive overload, which coming back to the whole toddler thing,
right?
How am I working out with toddlers and making my time efficient? Whatever that looks like, if it's the messiest, craziest workout ever, your kids are climbing all over you, like some of them are screaming, you can't get good your rest periods are all over the place. Just make sure when you're down on the floor doing that exercise that you're pushing close to failure, because that is going to mean you're getting the absolute most out of that. Out of that moment. Yeah. That's the one thing. Don't worry about anything else. That is the number one thing.
So when you're doing that one thing, whether the kid's on you or not, do it till it's nearly failure.
Yeah. And try and cover some general movements throughout the week.
Yeah. There you go. It's planning again. Going, okay, I know I've got a crazy week, but I've got some things I want to do on core on Monday. On Wednesday, it's upper, and Friday, it's my legs.
Sure.
And having some things in your toolbox to use, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to throw a big one for you as the mindset expert.
Okay.
Let's say you've joined Vibrant People and you've come in and it's like this conversation, this story we tell ourselves of, oh, well, I used to do this, I used to do that, and you're still living in it as if you're doing it, but you really know you've been out of shape for 20 years or 10 years or 5 years, right? And then you join and you're doing the thing, you're doing your 30 minutes, it's not perfect, it's not always sexy, sometimes it is, sometimes it's not, but you're still in your head feeling like this isn't enough and you can't bring your mind to the present from where it used to be in the past. How would one go about figuring that out and actually starting to tell themselves this is actually a tick and this is a massive win for myself, rather than this isn't enough, this isn't enough, this isn't enough?
Beautiful question, man. On
Sorry,
the
I
spot
just threw
now.
that
No,
on
I
the
like it. I like it, bro.
spot.
Well, this is how it goes, right? We can't plan everything. We just have to. So what? The feeling comes up is going. Why are we hanging on to that? Because it's not. There's something we haven't let go of. There's something we haven't said goodbye to, and we're not happy
Hmm.
with what I am right now. That's the first bit. It's not like, oh, I wish I could do more work. Yeah, yeah, but what? Why aren't you happy with what you have right now? Why can't you be really happy doing a workout in the sand pit and also doing some push-ups with a kid on you? Why doesn't that make you happy?
Hmm.
There's something that's disconnected from you.
Hmm.
I want to be free. I want to run away. I'm a lost boy. I actually don't want commitment. I'm scared of commitment. I'm scared of letting go of the Joe that was. All these things. And so then there's a million different ways you can approach that depending on what that is. But the first piece is going is an acknowledging part, which is typically done in like this sort of like therapies, mindset, coaching, mentoring session. What is it about your 20s that you love so much?
Mm.
Why is that the era or your 30s or whatever time it was that you want back?
Here's another thought,
Mm.
which is not even so deep. Is it literally just another excuse? I've got the time. I do
Yeah.
have 60 minutes
Yeah.
4 times. I've got 60 minutes 4 times a week. But in my 20s, I was doing 2 hours.
Yeah.
Is it just another layer of excuses
Yeah.
to actually take action?
100%. It's definitely an excuse. So why am I making excuses about anything? So my question is always when I'm running these like men's workshops and men's circles, which gets a bit deeper, it's like, where else in your life are you making excuses? You know,
Hmm.
where else in your life are you hiding from doing the thing? Oh shit. Actually, yeah. I haven't had that conversation with my wife about this thing. So it becomes a habit. So any of these excuse making, delaying, all of these things that show up for us is a habit that we form from somewhere.
Mm.
Or it could be triggered by many million different things, and I don't want to get into like trauma responses and stuff. But it could be a way we are shown about being perfect. We maybe were raised to be perfect, and you didn't get an A star. Well, good job, son, but next time go for that A star.
Yeah.
Just that could have planted a
I'm glad
seed,
I'm
right?
glad you mentioned the perfect thing actually, because I've had this conversation again and again with different clients is when someone says, "Oh, should we be doing more? Like, do we need to do more?"
Yeah, yeah.
And I say, "You're comparing it to a perfect that doesn't exist. There's no such thing." So let's say if we scheduled 4 30-minute workouts for a client a week, right? And they felt this wasn't enough. This wasn't perfect. That isn't perfect, but neither is 4 times 60 minutes. If I then changed it to 4 times 60 minutes and suddenly they were like, oh, cool, this is perfect because it's what I used to do or whatever. What if I then changed it to 4 times 70 minutes? Is
Mm,
them doing 60 minutes then
not good
imperfect?
enough. Right.
Right? Like
So,
the anchor point's always moving.
yeah.
And the other thing you mentioned was habit, which
Mm,
again perked my ears up because I do feel I've got in the habit of seeing anything as a win
yeah.
because I'm working hard in that moment, but however imperfect it is, to me, it really is. If I'm due a workout today, is it ticked or not? Whatever it's not. Does it look this certain way? To me now, it's just is it done?
Yeah.
And that mindset shift, it is a habit. It'll become easier over time.
And how good do you feel when you've ticked the thing? Like I feel so good today that I've already done some movement, which isn't my usual thing. I did kettlebells. I never do that, but I had to because the way it was set up with my kid. I've
Mhm.
done what I feel great. I'm not worried about should I have another round. I didn't get to do my pull-ups. Oh, I wanted to be outside. I did a thing. Good, sick. I've got the other things now, work and the daytime responsibilities. But it coming back to it, man. Coming back to this piece of like the why isn't it perfect? It's what story? Where's the story that we're still holding on to? Why is it perfect? Is it what you think? Is it a body that you think is perfect? A footballer, a pops, or whatever, whatever. Your dad, someone else that you know from the
Yeah,
gym. Well, what are you chasing, man?
I think it can come. I think it can be two things. I think it can be just another excuse as to not do it at all. I also think for some people it can be an urgency to get the results.
Yeah. No,
I
no.
want to get the results. I need more. So they might actually be doing it and going, I want to do it, but they might be just thinking it's not enough to
Yeah.
get the results that I want. So it's not used as an
Huh.
excuse to not do it at all. It's
Yeah.
just seen as it's the story that I'm telling myself, like, it's not enough to get to where I want to be. And I'll be brutally honest and say, maybe it isn't.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
3 times 30 minutes a week isn't enough to get to where you want to be in a certain amount of time. But you've got to look at your life and go, what is actually possible
Mm.
in the situation that I find myself in? I've got a busy job.
Mm.
I've got 2 toddlers. What is actually realistic and possible?
And yeah, man, I love this, man. And a lot of the people we work with are pretty high performers, and in their world, their professional world, working longer probably will get more results. Doing the extra
That's
sales
a whole
call.
new.
Well,
That's a
yeah,
whole
we
new
don't. But yeah,
conversation.
let's just say, for example, they do that extra sales call that evening, or they stay
Busy
up.
full.
Yeah, yeah, but could be like staying up,
Yeah.
like finishing programming that app that they're selling. They do it is going to bring them more success, like
Yeah.
maybe.
And I think there is a truth to that with training.
Yeah,
Like there's definitely it's a diminishing returns, right? Like you there is a level where doing more doesn't count, and it's the use of that time. Is it purposeful? Is the high intent?
right.
That's why most of our clients, us, we thrive on like a very low training volume because we've built a system that's like very effective.
Yeah,
Intent is high. It's highly
yeah.
systemized. It's highly flexible. Some of that might be the fact that they can actually just do it and they can be consistent,
Mm,
but you can want that 2 hours gym session a day, but if it doesn't actually fit in your life,
let
then it
go.
doesn't matter.
That's what we're saying, man. Let go of these old stories. Like
Mm,
that's only gonna impede your progress. You're gonna feel shit. I didn't do the thing. Oh, I know I did the tick, but it's not what I want. It won't. That mindset about anything isn't gonna help you.
no,
If I wish my wife was blonder. I don't know. I wish my house was bigger. I wish my car was redder and faster. Are you going to get how many men typically that will leave their partner for some younger, attractive? Does that solve anything? Hell no.
no.
For a minute it does. Oh, I'm going to buy a new, faster car. Yeah, cool. It looks great for 5 minutes. Then it's just another car that needs MOTing and needs a new tire, and you get stuck in traffic with. Like external validation. Like what makes me feel good right now? How am I feeling? And adjusting in that mindset, man, there's all the tools, there's the clearing and the journaling and the breathing into acceptance of who you are right now and what is winning to me today, right now.
Mm.
Right. And then the goals. It's like we set goals with our clients. So what is your goal?
And most
I'll
clients,
call you out on it if it's kind of mental, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna be a supermodel. Okay, bro, you're 60 kilos overweight, and you might take a minute to get there. So,
yeah,
what's some more realistic?
dream big, but not
Yeah,
that
yeah, dream
big.
it to your goal. You know what I mean? And you can do that if that's your goal. You're
Yeah,
gonna work a lot harder than you think you might have to.
yeah, exactly.
But goal, like the anchor of the goal of like to have energy. How often is that one? Have energy. That's the big one that I hear.
Yeah, it's interesting because the one thing that I hear on, I would say, possibly 75%, even maybe higher, of people I speak to when they're joining is I don't care about having a six pack.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. Like, is that
Mm,
what is that? But so many people say it to me. So if you and they say, "Oh, I don't want to be a bodybuilder or anything," it's almost like lowering the level of their result.
mm-hmm.
Just I don't know for whatever reason, right? That's a different conversation. But the reason I'm saying it is that lots of the preconceptions about what it takes to get to the shape you want to be is actually based on like old like Men's Health, Muscle and Fitness, like men's fitness magazines, where a lot of that stuff was trickling down from the bodybuilding world,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So to actually get to those levels, yeah, you do have to do that very intense, structured, perfect thing. But for most people who want to get leaner, they want to get stronger, they want to get more mobile, they want to have energy, they want to feel good in their body, they want to feel better than they did yesterday, day after day after day after day. None of that stuff is actually necessary.
Yeah.
And that is actually a massive thing that holds you back psychologically, because if you're always looking at that as like what it should be,
Right.
and everything else is inferior, even if you're doing the inferior thing, then it's never gonna feel good to you. So the sooner you can get over that, which might just be, we get clients that join the program. At first, they might be like, "Oh, should we do more? I want to do more." Then they're 2 months in and they're feeling amazing, they're looking amazing, and then suddenly they're at peace with it, and it's like, actually
This
the
works.
pros of only having
Yeah.
to work out 30 minutes a few times a week
Yeah.
suddenly become
Yeah, yeah.
apparent.
I
Oh, I
don't
can't
want
believe
extra.
I don't want any more. Like, I'm
Yeah.
doing so much. I have so much
Yeah.
time now.
Yeah, man, and you know what you touched on there is this idea that we're fed, particularly as men and women as well, actually, of the perfect body,
Mm-hmm.
of Men's Health. All the covers are they're not often lean as in like slender and lean. They're pretty jacked dudes, and that's great. But actually, having a lean body is amazing too. But the lean guys, and I'll speak for myself, I've always been like a lean guy. I'm always like, oh man, I need to really put on muscle. But actually, I feel great when I really felt like how I feel. I'm really happy.
Mm.
And so, how many of us are out there chasing this thing that is actually not your goal? It's what you've been told is your goal. Like that's the pinnacle. All right, that cool.
Yeah.
Not for me. And I see that particularly with women. Women have it's got to be this and this, and you got to look at that tiny little waist. This and that. Come on, man. You're
Yeah.
mums.
This is
It's a
this is such a
societal.
complex conversation. There's
Yeah,
just so
of
many
course.
elements of it, and yeah, it's like what are you chasing
Yeah.
by saying you want to do more, or
Mm.
I can't work out because it's not the perfect environment. Like, what if it was perfect? Like, what
Yeah.
by doing that in a perfect environment? Like, what is going to happen? Like, what are you looking for that can't be achieved doing the imperfect thing, like working out around your kids? I think we're still talking about having toddlers and working out.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
Hopefully this should help you.
Yeah. It's
But
all.
what, yeah, ask yourself that, like, what would be the actual difference? Is it faster results, better results? Is that even true, that story? I don't know. And it's very interesting. And one of the topics that I kept putting in the poll is like, will a lean body make you happy? No one seems to be voting for it apart from me, because I think it's
Yeah.
super interesting topic.
Yeah.
The truth is, just to touch on it now, is that it might do, but for most people, like you said, you could go, oh, maybe I'll get a bit leaner, I'll build a bit of muscle. But if you're like super happy and energetic and confident and balanced and in control of your life now, then you don't actually need that.
No.
And that you probably won't, as someone that is striving to be in better shape and improve themselves physically and mentally, you probably won't know that point until you get there. So you might have a loftier goal, but you might actually get to a point where you're like, oh, this is working out isn't taking over my life. I'm still eating foods that I enjoy, still eating with my family. I'm not having to weigh everything out and eat out a Tupperware box or train 2 hours a day, and I feel great.
Yeah.
This is actually what I wanted to achieve, and that other goal doesn't seem necessary anymore.
That's it. I don't know if you get this, but when I ask clients their goals, sometimes they struggle. They're like, oh, yeah, lose some weight. My waist size will be, I'll weigh 4 kilos less, whatever. After that, they're like, more energy. But really what happens, like you say, 2 months in, it's a feeling of like, oh, I just feel better. How do you measure that? Well, there's a whole stuff you can do, but that's what we're chasing. Feeling more alive, feeling more energetic, feeling more present. And this is your new baseline. And then from there, that's when we can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But you're raise the floor. And I'd also argue that, typically, most of our clients are working for 90 days. It's kind of a fallacy, because this isn't, we can make massive shifts in 90 days. You got to keep this up. This is something you need to be doing. You're going to see some changes. You'll feel better. If you go back to, oh, well, now I don't need to, I got the t-shirt fits good. I look good. All right, now I'll just do your floor will be higher, but it's just going to fall apart, man. This is a full lifestyle piece. And that's why, like, the people that really certainly within our program, that you see the successes. They stay on for years, right? And they're just doing the thing. And now they're like playing, and they're like, oh, I brought in skipping rope now. I'm also doing these other things. Like I get guys logging like spin classes. Sick. It's just like how they're having fun.
Yeah.
And they're never more than 15, 20, 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah. And that freedom and that the breaking away from this pressure of it has to be this way, I'm not doing it, da 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 da. Once you get to that point, all those guys that have kids are just doing it around the kids. Like it's not even a big deal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just like did a workout. My son was in the room, or I took him out to the park. I did it. It's just kind of like it shows that it's not actually the problem that you have toddlers and that they're holding you back. It's more of a, it could be, it's that excuse or it's that urgency, I think, to get the results faster.
Yeah.
So one thing that I really want to talk about as a practical thing with the toddlers is not specifically the workout itself. So just to cover, I want to summarize that. Most important thing is doing something. Don't let it be an excuse and stop you because nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
Do something. See if you can really ask yourself like why you're chasing what you believe to be perfect, whether it's something in the past or what you feel is now. Embrace imperfection and try and break away from that. And in the workouts themselves, very practical. If you focus on progressive overload, i.e. trying to get better every single time, pushing yourself to that point close to failure, like you're going to be doing pretty well and probably better than most people that are working with a PT or like following a structured program in a gym, to be honest, because they're probably not going to that intensity level.
Yeah.
All that being said, if you have toddlers, you're working hard, your life's busy, workouts are imperfect, let's talk about the actual lifestyle behaviors that you can leverage to get better results. Because if your goal is to lose fat, for example, a lot of people's goal, they don't really care about the weight necessarily on the scale, but they want to lose some fat. They want to look leaner.
Yeah.
You want to be working out for sure, but nutrition's your biggest leverage point, right?
Yep.
And that doesn't really require any extra time. I assume if you're overweight, you've been putting food in your mouth, right? So if you can leverage that without it taking up any more time, without kids being an issue in that, because those things are happening already.
It's better choices, isn't it? You touched on it earlier. It's like everyone eats the same thing. We're all eating healthy at the table. So I'll finish Avala's food, but I've not made her like processed chicken nuggets. We got a really good omelette there with some broccoli on there.
Yeah.
That's extra for me.
Well, that's why the first thing I wrote down when I saw that topic was that finishing kids' leftovers, because I would actually...
That could go the other way.
I'm going to say that can actually backfire whether it's good food or not.
True.
Backfire in the sense of maybe you'll still feel good, but you might just get a little bit of extra fluff around the belly that you weren't expecting, because ultimately,
that's true.
Whole foods, whatever, higher nutrients, they're going to still digest well, give you good energy, but a calorie still is a calorie, and it's going to give you a bit of excess energy.
Well, it's eating over what I need to eat. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's something you need to watch. If you are feeding your kids like processed food and whatever, like it can have a massive impact.
Just don't do that. I'll put it out there. Don't do it. Don't put it in your. If you don't want to eat it, don't give it to your kids. Oh, they don't like steak. Well, they're not going to like. Don't give them the option.
Yeah.
Like for me personally, McDonald's isn't a thing we do. We don't even know about that. Like that's not an option. Like a treat. My proudest moment, Jake, maybe this isn't really on topic, is that we go in the supermarket and we see this sweet salad and she goes, oh, that stuff isn't good for our bodies. So that's how I frame it. So these are just like framings. And I know I want to go down the sweet salad sometimes, but I've said that and I'm not going to pick it up in front of her. Do I get the odd chocolate cake? Sure, a little biscuit here and there, of course. But the habit, and for me, that's been big for me. It's having them and going, would I give my kids this? Do I want to put a bag of Haribo in front of Avala?
Sure.
No.
Sure.
So there's like a accountability to my children.
This can be a topic where people can feel judged by talking about it, but I'm happy to talk about it because I feel pretty strongly about it. And if you do feel persecuted by this topic, then that's why are you being triggered, I would say.
There you go, bro.
But
this is our life, Joe. This is the way we choose to live.
kids as an excuse to like eat poor food, or that they eat poor food. I think I heard this on another podcast, but it made me chuckle. Is they are not the ones going to the supermarket and like filling the basket and paying for it with the card. Like you are the parent and you are the adult. So if there's junk in the house, like you have bought it. Don't say the kids have, oh, the kids wanted that, the kids needed that. It's not
Yeah,
true at
bro,
all.
I'm with you.
Um, it's like Joe says, it's absolutely fine. Like kids, everyone should eat things that they enjoy and things that aren't perfect for you. Like that's life is there to be lived, but if it's something that's consistently happening, then you are the one that can own that. And your kids, whilst it might create a bit of friction at first, especially if they are used to maybe more of a processed diet, they will adapt to it very, very, very quickly. A kid can get fluent in a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old can get fluent in a language in like a matter of months, right?
Yeah.
They will adapt to routines very, very, very quickly. And like I said with the exercise thing, with Axel being like, "Oh, Daddy, why, let's go to the outdoor gym. Like, let's go to
Yeah,
that one."
bro, that's
That
the
will
best
happen with the
news I've heard.
food. That
Yeah.
will happen with the food as well.
Yeah.
That they'll
Yeah.
just become mini accountability partners, and they'll be like,
Totally.
"Oh, Dad, can we have steak tonight?" Or
Yeah.
Axel calls ground beef Bergberg. They
But
call it
yeah.
Bergberg. "Oh, Dad, can we have Bergberg tonight with sweet potato?" Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
bro. They're not asking for a chicken
Absolutely
nugget,
cool, because that's just what they've become used to.
bro. And that's why I'm doing it. That's like we said this, I think, on the last book. Like, why am I looking after myself? Is I want her to go through life making good decisions. She's gonna be her own person. She's gonna life's there to be lived. Eat ice cream. Go to Gelbert's. We've got an 80-year-old ice cream parlor down the road from Jake and I. It's epic. Shout out Gelbert's.
Mhm.
Um, that's cool.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. Yeah. Um, but it's choices, right? And it's like, what's my default?
Mhm.
Where's my floor? My floor is healthy eating, whole foods, nutritious foods, variety of colors on the plate. Um, for me, this is a whole nother topic. Responsibly organic meat.
Mhm.
Um, this is how we live well and eat well with toddlers in the house.
I
And then
think,
there's maybe something about timings of that. We
yeah.
can suddenly be
So
like, oh, I didn't get to cook, and the kids are.
with the toddlers thing, the thing that I hear that people find tricky, and I guess from my own experience, is a the food choices. So if I give them what we're having, like they won't eat it, which I understand that dinner time can be a very high friction environment for anyone, and there's a fear of like making it even more stressful, even if it will be temporarily. I think, to me personally, if you want to change everyone and you want your change to be sustainable, like everyone needs to be on board in the family unit. So I think that's a hurdle that has to be crossed at some point, unless you want to cook twice every single day. If you want to do that, fair enough. But like you said, I would ask yourself, if you wouldn't put it in your body and you're avoiding that to get healthier, why would you give it to a 3-year-old? Like,
Mm.
I don't understand that personally.
And man, what you touched on there is what we often. It will be hard for a minute while you change the
Very
diet.
much
There'll be
so.
a lot of, and it'll be way easier to just giving those chicken nuggets. But just stick with it, man. It's way easier to not do your pull-ups,
Yeah. But then
right?
once the reward
Yes,
is that, imagine
yes.
every single evening you cook one thing, you all sit together as a family at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, whatever time it is, you eat dinner together, you get them in on the cleaning up, which is like what happens in our house.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that whole thing of, oh, the kids eat at this time and they eat their thing and then they go to bed and then we eat our thing,
Right,
which
some
is
random time.
fine. Like, if
Yeah,
you want to
that
do
can
that, that's
happen.
fine. Like,
Yeah,
do your own thing.
yeah.
But I'm just saying, in terms of leveraging
Mm-hmm.
the situation with the toddlers and making it easy for yourself, if you aren't all eating together and eating the same thing at the moment, there is going to be a challenge, and there's going to be a tough period to get to that point. But
Yeah,
the reward is
yeah.
that suddenly you've just freed up a lot of time and stress in
And
your day.
think about it, man. How long are we going to be parents of toddlers? 5 years? Maybe, let's say 10 if you've got a few kids spread out.
Yeah.
Like 10 years. Well, let's say we're going to live to 80 average, maybe, hopefully. I'm going to go longer. That's not a very long time. And all these little moments and I kind of, again, I forget to remember that it's already over. Like, that's happened. Evelyn's like 4 and a bit now. We've done okay. I got another newborn coming. You've got one coming. I've got one. Sorry, yours is coming. It's just it's hard for a minute, man.
Hmm.
If we want easy all the time, life that would suck. So lean in. Like if it's this is worth it, is what I'm saying. Like choose your hard.
Yeah.
Is it hard to like wean them off if you've been eating shitty or not eating in different times? Yeah, it's going to be hard. But what is the reward? And how long is it actually going to take? I'd
Mm.
argue a week, maybe two. And then you're going to
Yeah.
have to eat at a time you didn't really want. Hey, man, I go to bed at like 8 now. It's awesome. Like, I'd laugh at myself. You go to 8 o'clock, 8:30. Yeah, it's fucking great.
Yeah.
So, what is success now versus success before?
Yeah. Exactly.
You know,
And the thing with the shift in the diet for the child is as well, if they don't eat dinner because it's different, don't stress.
yeah,
They're going to eat breakfast, I
yes,
guarantee.
100%.
Whatever you put on the table for breakfast, if they've not eaten dinner,
Yep.
like they're going to eat it. So if they are truly hungry, and they might go for a few dinners where they do a hunger strike, just roll with it.
Tantrum strike.
They're not gonna starve. Okay,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
will definitely eat dinner.
There you
And
go.
my kids still do it now.
Yeah.
Like they'll just be like, I'm not eating that.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Well,
Well,
we're
it's
eating.
there. It's on the table. 9 times out of 10, an hour later they'll come back and eat the whole thing off the plate.
Bro, and also there's a lesson there for us of like we bend. It's a power play to toddlers, which we do know. We don't know later, but we do know now.
Yeah,
It's a power play. They're pushing boundaries, or they're working out where they can push, and they do all the time, and it's hard. But if we stick to them, they come back. They're like, oh, I can't have ice cream for breakfast. I've asked 3 times, and the eggs are still there. Well, I'll eat
yeah.
the
I
eggs.
can't eat the eggs.
You know,
Yeah, it's so true. And in the moment, it feels it. What can it feel like? It can feel like, oh, I need to look after them. I need to give them what they want all the time. I don't know, like all these weird emotions. And then when you do realize they come back and eat that thing that they were saying, I'm not eating that. It's yucky. And they eat every
it's
single scrap off the
spicy.
plate.
Yeah.
They'd never even tasted that. They didn't have a clue.
Well,
They were saying that regardless of what was on the plate.
Right, and remembering that trying to reason with them is pointless. You had eggs yesterday. No, they're spicy. Stop it.
Yeah.
Like they're not an adult. Like
Yeah.
let it go. Oh, cool, don't eat your eggs.
Yeah.
But also, man, like that behavior, like touching something we talked about earlier. If I always get what I always want, what kind of adult am I going to turn into? Right? But I don't have to do anything hard at that time. It is the hardest thing in the world for them to eat the eggs when they just want ice cream. What is that behavior? What are the habits we're setting for our kids by just bending over for them all the time?
Mm,
And then how does that show up in my life?
mm,
Oh, I don't want to do the workout. Oh, that's all right, Joe. You're okay.
yeah.
You know,
So
we're probably on.
we went off on one there. But the point of that was that you can still leverage your nutrition.
Yeah.
You can make it easy for yourself. And even if you are eating completely different to your kids and you're cooking something separate, which I don't recommend, but if you are, that's still a massive lever point for you, especially if like body composition and weight or fat is like a goal for you, because you are still going to be eating, you're still going to be cooking. If you're not cooking, you're still going to be choosing something that you're getting from a supermarket or a shop. So you can leverage that to optimize. That is the one piece where you can actually, you're in full control.
Yeah.
You don't need extra time to
Right.
do that, really.
Right.
I would argue, even if you're saying, oh, well, I need to go shopping and I need to cook. Well, if that's so important, you can get meals delivered to you that are like optimized or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
there's a million.
So even if you feel, oh, my workout isn't perfect, which I want you to try and process and get better at and change your perspective on that long term. But for the time being, if you feel it isn't, the one thing that actually can be perfect is the nutrition.
Yeah.
So if you let yourself down on the nutrition, but you're still feeling, oh, my workouts aren't perfect, you're missing a massive opportunity there. And that goes for what you said, getting sleep as well. We don't think we have time to go into it today, but the chances are a lot of people, if they've got toddlers, they're probably getting some broken sleep as well. So going to bed at 12 o'clock at midnight, 1 a.m., it's not serving you. It's not a wise decision. Leverage what you can leverage. So going to bed earlier, assuming that you're going to get some broken sleep.
Yeah.
Taking breaks throughout the day, just throwing some practical stuff out, like whilst you're at work, moving more throughout the day, walking to work, walking to the shop, taking regular breaks, using more energy.
Just another practical, just on that, just to as we're rounding off with food, it's like how many of us have to like make a lunchbox for our kids, but how many of us are making a lunchbox for ourselves? Like and it took me a minute to get this. I'm making Avila's lunch the night before, like cooking up some pasta, or chopping up some whatever for her, getting in the fridge, and I'm like, oh wait, I could boil my eggs right now for the morning's lunch. Then I got my 3 eggs in my pack and I've chopped up halloumi, whatever I've done. It's done
Yeah.
while I'm doing hers.
Yeah, it's no
Thanks for
extra
that
time.
gift, Avila. Like she's helped me. I had to make that 15 minutes to cook her. Do mine. Prepped, done, healthy eating sorted. Because I'm thinking of when I'm going in her lunch pack. And it used to be like, oh, I'm out. I don't have, oh, I'm eating something shit. Right? That still happens sometimes. So yeah, prep, planning, thinking ahead.
So let's go. Original question. How do you work out with toddlers, or let's say we stay fit with toddlers? One line each as a result.
Adapt and have fun.
Have fun.
Yeah,
Adapt and have fun.
have
I
fun with
like
it.
it.
It's really fun
Yeah.
working out with a toddler.
Okay, and I'm gonna go embrace imperfection
Yeah,
and leverage the things that you can control.
beautiful.
Beautiful.
All right, people. Well, I hope that helps. If you've got older kids, do let us know because it's coming for us.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
Cool.